And a very good afternoon. This is vk3sl and you're tuned in to the test missions. This is where we explore hitherto unknown worlds of modulated sound in all sorts of bizarre expressions in the nostalgic domain. Yes, we retract. We go back. This is a veritable TARDIS here, this room. This is where I exist now. This is the office, it's the workspace, it's the recreational space, it's the test zone. This is the place. Yes, we retract into our little boxes as the corona mantle becomes more prevailing. Golly, crazy times. Anyhow, we're going to test things a little further today because I did have some space today and I took time to reconfigure the turntables. We've had a lot of problem in recent times with humbuckles, noise getting into the system, feedies back, all sorts of things. I thought it was RF, and it probably was RF to some extent, but one of the preamps had gone south, so we've tried to ameliorate that. And I'm keen to test it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go over to the back one desk. This is the second desk, and this is the desk that I use when I'm doing my online teaching, actually. But we're not there yet. I've firstly got to fade out of Mr. B. Mr. B, our theme music. And while I'm getting organised, just a quick word to say that we're streaming online as well. So if you like to be entertained, please go to the streaming service. It's under my call sign, and that's a YouTube channel, vk3sl, as a YouTube channel. So look it up. It's live right at this moment. Live missions. And we are about to switch over to the other microphone. So excuse a moment of dead air. And here we are. Hello, 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that working? I think it is. Okay. My levels are not high enough on the headphones, so I'm not quite sure, but I can sort that out later. All right, looks like it's coming out, and I'm going to look at the SDR. Looks like there's a signal. And what we'll do is we'll play one of these other tables that we don't usually use. These have been out of action for quite some time. So, what have we got? On table number 1, I've got Parade of the Pirates. This is a recording made by Alfredo Campoli and his Dorchester Hotel Orchestra, recorded in London in about 1936. This is vk3sl. Testing. vk3sl, test missions on 160 metres. Been listening to Alfredo Campoli and his orchestra, a recording made in the mid-1930s. All right, that's turntable A, or number 1. Now, letter B, hasn't been used for a long time. This one hasn't been in action for quite a few years, so we're going to crank this one up now. I've wound the handle up. I've changed the preamp. I can hear a little bit of noise there in the background. Maybe there's a bit of room to go, but we'll try this one out as well. Now, on this table, I have a recording of Paul Whiteman's orchestra. And in fact, we think it may be Bing Crosby's first record, if not his second, and a record he made for Victor in 1926. So it's a great record, actually, but it's in pretty bad nick. But we'll give it a go nevertheless. And we'll hear Bing Crosby in full jazz flavour with Muddy Water. vk3sl, testing.
Muddy water round my feet, muddy water in the street. Just God's own shelter down on the delta. Muddy water in my shoes, rockin' to those low down blues. They live in ease and comfort down there, I declare. Been away a year today to wander and roam. I don't care, it's muddy there, but still it's my home. Got my toes turned Dixie way, round that delta let me lay. My heart cries out for muddy water.
This is vk3sl. You've been listening to the music of Paul Whiteman and his orchestra, and with a very young Bing Crosby. I think he was about 23 when he made that record, and it's reputed to be his first or second, an early example. I think the very first was a duet with Al Rinker made in the same year. But that record really does reveal Crosby's fantastic jazz feeling for the jazz style, and he's got a natural jazz voice, and it's a pity he didn't sort of follow that lead more, I think. Anyhow, well, we've done with our tests for the day in that sense, and I think we'll just move on now with some more sort of other program materials. So I've got lined up another selection featuring Paul Whiteman and his orchestra, and I think these also feature Bing Crosby. In fact, yes, Crosby and the Rhythm Boys. This is a selection put together by Mr. Prozoot, who we celebrate on these airs. Prozoot gets a Guernsey because we like his transfers. And this is after Paul Whiteman moved to Columbia in May 1928. His deal with Columbia was very lucrative, and he had his own label, his own Potato Head label, which had a picture of Mr. Whiteman's big face, his potato head, and a very stylized sort of image there, and multicolored label, had an orange middle and a green section below. Very colourful, very sort of out there. And he certainly had some agency, did Mr. Whiteman. And this was sort of the pinnacle of his success. This period in the late 20s was amazing for Mr. W, and he had some great musicians in the band, including Mr. Beiderbecke, Bix Beiderbecke, and Bill Challis was the arranger, and he exploited Bix and really showed off Bix's his greatness in not only in allowing Bix to play lots of solos, but also in the orchestration, which always pays homage to Bix as well. So Bix reigned supreme in the late Whiteman sessions, and you'll certainly hear his influence and his solos on these recordings. So let's have a listen to a selection, about a 15-20 minute selection of Mr. W, Paul Whiteman and his orchestra, recordings made in 1928. This is vk3sl testing.
Some sweet someone's coming this way. Some sweet someone's coming to say hello. Hello, hi-ho. Come, let's hop again. Let's get any old thing we can grab. Let's all meet her. There's no one sweeter I know. But da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You can rave and shout about your gals in town. Wait till you see that out-of-town gal of mine. They don't think I'm sweeter than sweet Mary Brown. Wait till you see that out-of-town gal of mine. Right now you think I'm not a smarty, but wait and hesitate until you see that certain party. Imagine Venus dressed in a blue gingham gown. Wait till you see that out-of-town gal of mine.
Hey, people, you should come to Arkansas. Meet a friend of mine, old Aunt Phoebe Law. She's known to everyone for miles around. She will help you when friends forsake you and troubles bear you down. For those who come her way are blessed when they hear her say, "'Tain't so, honey, 'tain't so." Spoke to the Lord and the Lord said, "No, 'tain't so. Honey, 'tain't so. Tain't so, honey, tain't so. Tomorrow will bring something good, I know tain't so. I mean, it just ain't so. Makes no difference what your problem may be. Just look up, brother, and I'm sure you will see. Tain't so, honey, tain't so. The devil said yes, but the Lord said no. Tain't so, honey, tain't so. coming out tonight. The mockingbirds am singing, and the moon am shining bright. The roses am a-nodding, and a swaying in the breeze. Get on your Sunday, go to meeting clothes, and come along, please.
yes sir, yes sirree, because my baby don't mean maybe now. I just got a little letter just yesterday, and now I feel a little better, and so I say, life is short and mighty sweet, but I know mine is quite complete, because my baby don't mean maybe now. Smile at somebody else. If I can't call you my own, I'd rather be all alone than be with somebody else. I could just pretend I don't care about you, but that wouldn't end those long nights without you. Though broken hearted and blue, I'd rather feel like I do than be with somebody else.
vk3sl testing on 160 metres in a narrowband FM mode. Been listening to a selection of recordings made by Paul Whiteman's orchestra, featuring a very young Bing Crosby and one of the most remarkable trumpet players of all time, Big Spiderwick, was playing with the band at that time. He was a visionary in every sense of the word. He combined a lot of the sophisticated elements of classical music with jazz, and he was largely responsible for the new wave of jazz, which sort of evolved into a whole lot of extraordinary fusion and bop and bebop elements and modern jazz styles later on. He sort of premiered that. He sort of broke jazz out of its shackles and cross-pollinated between different styles of music. He was, modern styles particularly. All right, there we go. I'm going to now go over to the SP10. We've been sort of rolling turntables a bit earlier in the piece. We were looking at the old CE tables where I was testing out some 78s live to air, and now we've just had a selection from Mr. Prozut off YT. Now, what have we got next? A record of Vivaldi. We don't play enough Vivaldi on these airs. We don't. we should be listening to more Vivaldi. Vivaldi's music's accessible, it's dynamic, it's fun, and I haven't got my glasses and I can't see what's on the label. That's hopeless. All right, all I can say is it's, I think they're flute concertos. No, oboe, 2 violins, holding it up to the light. There's a variety of things on this, so let's have a listen. I better clean the record, I suppose. And yes, so we've used 3 out of the 5 turntables in here. The others get a regular Guernsey. We have Phytotonics very regularly using the Beyer, and we have the old mag pickup for worn 78s. And the SB10, of course, is the one I'm using now, which we use for LPs. And you're listening to a test missions, where we're giving all of this ancient equipment a bit of a Guernsey. Right, SP10, it's on, needle in the groove, and I think it might be E Musici or one of those, E Solisti Venetti, that's who we're listening to, VK3SL testing. vk3sl test missions on 160 metres, and we've been listening to the music of Vivaldi, Antonio Vivaldi, the Venetian redhead, and he's what have we been listening to? A variety of instrumental concertos played by Isolde di Venetti, a record made for the World Record Club in the 1960s. And this one was purchased by my grandfather, Mr. CEL, in 1970. And he played it on the 9th month of 1970. So there we go. There's a bit of incidental nothingness. It says he was made for Erato. So the Erato Waltz. And Jean-Pierre Rampal is the flautist on that. And that's a name known to me. But it's Baroque music the way it should be played, I think. Now, I notice I'm getting out quite well interstate tonight. So hello to intrepid interstate travellers out and beyond. And I think we'll turn the record over. I don't know if the sun's set yet, but we'll continue for a little bit longer. With apologies to any grey liners. I'll just give this record a clean while I'm waffling. Yes, grey liners out there, all queuing up to use 160 metres. And I noticed there were a couple of people on at 1850. So with my apologies if I'm treading on anyone's shoes, you can get back in contact with me, vk3sl at hotmail.com. And also just a reminder that we have a streaming service as well. So if you'd like to be entertained, you can go to the streaming service. Otherwise, these are strictly test missions. And we use modulated sound from Venice from 1700. vk3sl.
This is a test transmission vk3sl. This is a test transmission from vk3sl.
And with a typical Vivaldi signature ending, we conclude our Baroque sojourn, heading back to Venice in the early 1700s. The music of Antonio Vivaldi with his Solis di Venetti. I was particularly impressed with that last Sicilienne, that last concerto, the middle movement. Yes, it was a Sicilian, and there was a solo oboe, and it sounded beautiful, it sounded great. Lofty oboe playing, I love it. And I like full-blooded Baroque music playing as well, something which is not too challenged with short breaths and breathing. Nice long lines for me. All right then, folks, that's it for today. We'll probably be back tomorrow, and tomorrow I probably won't be able to speak to you because I'll be wearing a mask. I'll have a mask across my face. We have to wear masks. They're mandatory tomorrow. That's the new normal here in Victoria. So madness prevails. Anyhow, we just go along with the flow and find our little escapes. So, in honour of all of our magic makers, let's hear All We Like Sheep, vk3sl.